Tonight, this talk is calling all cowards. And you know what? There's cowardice in each and every one of us. And you guys are some of the most courageous human beings that I have ever had an opportunity to meet face to face. And yet still, this cowardice abides within us. And it is something that must be rooted out of us with violence, with ferociousness. And you know what? It took for my wife and I, just the last summer, we ended up going up to a place in the mountains that had no cell service and no Wi-Fi. And you're like, oh, this sounds like idyllic. You're off the grid. Like, it's so beautiful. Until you need to look up a recipe. And you're like, how do we do all this stuff? Like, you know what you turn to? Books. Like books. Like we started reading again. We're like, wow, we suddenly have time to read. No, like we had to read, otherwise we had no idea what we were doing. It wasn't like idyllic and beautiful because libraries were raining out of the sky. No, we knew that we had to get back this time that was being stolen away through these black mirrors that were ever present in front of our faces continually. Even if you're awake and you know that you shouldn't be staring at it all the time, and you're watching all the woke conspiracy stuff, and you're just trying to unravel the mysteries of everything. I understand. But it's still this word that we're given in Ephesians. And my wife, before I came here, anybody got a sword in the room? I'm talking about this kind, not this kind. I'll get to this kind. You guys got it? Hold it up. I want to see physical swords that are in the room. Not your phone. Don't even hold it up. I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed. Awesome. Ephesians 6, go! Go! Sword drills. You guys know what that are, right? Get there! If I'm the last one there, you win. I'll throw gemstones at you. Seriously. Ask your children. Who's gonna get there? Who wants to read it? No, I can't do that. You guys don't have my phone. Who wants to read it? Too dark. Anybody? Will you come here? Come here. Will you read it? Yeah, you bet.
Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand firm, stand therefore, having fastened on the belt of truth, and having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and as shoes for your feet, having put on the readiness given by the gospel of peace. In all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one, and take up the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying at all times in the Spirit, with all prayer and supplication. To that end, keep alert with all perseverance, making supplication for all the saints, and also for me, that words may be given to me, and opening my mouth boldly to proclaim the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, that I may declare it boldly as I ought to speak.
Boldly. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause. Don't come to sword fights empty-handed. Personal experience. Don't do it. Don't do it, okay? We've heard this passage. How many people have heard that passage before in their life? Like basically all of us, right? How many of you have ever heard this phrase, redeeming the time? Because the days are evil. Evil. Anybody feel some evil days around us? Anybody feel that thick, ever-present darkness? The spiritual darkness that's coming upon us? Yes, but he gave us an answer. He gave us the solution. An idea of a talk earlier today that was talking about who are the immersers. The answer is the people who immerse themselves in this word. The people who immerse themselves in this word. They are the immersers. That's why he made John, Yohanan, the Baptist, the immerser, so unique. He lived in a desert called Qumran. Not lots of water. And everybody's like, yeah, he's the baptizer, right? No, he did this. He poured this on people. Whoever they were, wherever they were, no matter how high in status and rank they were, no matter how lowly they were, he poured all this on them continually. And it made him mighty, and it made him hated, and it made him hunted. That's a hero. That's a mighty man. The word in Hebrew is called gibor. Gimel, bet, resh. And my wife was reading that portion to her, and my wife couldn't stop thinking about redeeming the time and how much her phone had stolen from her. Stolen from my children. Stolen from me. Stolen from our friends. Stolen from the relationships and the communities and the creation. How much these black mirrors steal from us. Question, do we have an enemy that has a name known as the thief? It's his identity. It's what makes him who he is, right? This great dragon of old, who is a thief, has set up a system to steal your time. Money is what? A tool, a thing, magic in a sense. But your time is unique to you, and to you, and to you, and to those children. It is precious, and it is rare, and it should be guarded fiercely. And you know what it took for me to realize the value of time? When I would get in fights with human beings. I used to live in a very different world that I was born into. That was not where people talked like this. Where people who talked like this, and all these things you're hearing here, were hunted by that one's army. The enemy has a radical, intelligent, evil influenced army of people who operate amidst your congregations and amidst the fellowships to hunt down and spiritually and physically destroy the opposition. And you should have that same kind of mindset in your heads towards the spiritual powers and towards these things that are stealing your time. Stealing the things that should be most precious to you. You need to take violence to these idols in your life. My life has been totally transformed in the most painful kinds of ways because the Father disciplines those he loves. And some of us, you feel loved a lot lately by the Father? You feel super disciplined lately? But you know what? There comes a time with your children, and all of you who have children know what I'm talking about, that you no longer have to discipline them the way you did when they were young. You suddenly start to discipline them with words and with a communication that's different. Because they understand that there's way more power with the way you talk to them or even just look at them. Or if you abstain from them. They feel that. The Father says he turns his face from us. He hid himself from us. If you don't want my ways, you don't want my instructions, I'll go over here. I'm going to hide my face from you. And when I talk to you and you plugged your ears to what I had to say to you, fine. I'm going to plug my ears when you scream. He gave that to us because we said we want our own gods. We want to be our own kings. We want to be our own queens. Let us have it. Fine. Go. Run it out. And what does he say? If you would turn to me. If you would cry out to me. If you would diligently seek me with all your heart, with all your strength, and with all your might, I will be found by you. I will not hide my face any longer. We're not the first people to cry out and scream for help. But if any of you are a dad and you hear the scream of your child, you drop everything you have and everything you're doing and you go running. You are there. You better get out of the way. I've got this